Hello, namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I am an intuitive reader and healer, and today I'm here to share with you and talk a little bit about the second edition of the Tyldwick Tarot. This is a deck that I have been coveting for some time, and somehow I missed it on the first round, and I started following the website that the creator's brother continued and was able to order right away as soon as it became available again. So today we are going to look at that deck, and we're going to talk a little bit about the metaphor of the house, bring in a little bit of Jungian psychology to that as well. I have picked up and sorted through a few cards in my copy of the Texture Tarot by Lisa McLaughlin, because there were some cards in this deck that I thought reminded me of the Tyldwick Tarot. And then towards the end, I thought today that we could, I want to build a spread from this deck. I think there is tremendous power in this deck with the metaphor of the house and how we can. And also I wanted to go with you through my thought process in building a spread. Okay, so I think it's a really powerful tool to have as a reader, and as whether you are a beginner or you are a seasoned professional, it's an important part of the process in connecting with a deck for me, to figure out what the potential of a deck is. And also, you know, I did a walkthrough of this deck in the Facebook group. If you're not a member, there's a link in the description box below. And it was a spontaneous, I wasn't planning on doing a walkthrough, but I was encouraged to do so. And so we had a quick look at it, a very short conversation. And so I've looked at it just that once. And I also have watched one or two of your videos and an older video by Marcus Katz, which was quite incredible. His first impressions from the first edition. So I might link that video later in the description box below, because that was an extraordinary review. Really appreciated that. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently today, because I have unwrapped the deck already. And that's also a really good point, Nancy. Hello to Nancy and Marina. Wonder what cards from this might correspond to houses in astrology. So just the metaphor of house is a huge, it's a huge metaphor. And I'm just going to go, let's see if you can see the cards this way. Perfect. So I thought I would do this a little bit differently, start from the minor arcana, because I think looking at the aces, twos, threes, fours side by side can be really, really helpful. I'm just going to move these up a little bit. And then we'll look at some of the details of the deck after. Cardstock, the gorgeous copper gilding on the side. And if you like this deck, the second edition, I believe, is still available. There are 1,000 copies printed. It comes out of the UK. And Neil Lovell is the creator. His brother Joe is maintaining his work and his website. Hi there, Lena. Neil Lovell passed away in 2018. And one of the extra cards that comes with the deck is a memorial card to Neil. The flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. This was definitely true for Neil. He was born in 71, so he had a very short life, 1971 to 2018. This was definitely true for Neil, a gifted artist and scholar with a particular interest in languages and cultures. During a business trip to the Middle East, he amazed his boss by chatting almost fluently with the taxi driver. I thought I should learn a few words. This is just one of the stories of Neil's life that only came to light after his passing. He would delight everyone with colorful stories from his travels, complete with accents, making the characters involved alive for the listener, but rarely speaking of himself. The design elements of his research work slowly began to take over his work time, and he used his new skills to revisit tarot. After first designing the Nijinsky while at Oxford as a distraction from his classical studies. It would take over 3 years, but eventually his first proper tarot deck was created, and the Tyldwick tarot was an instant success, and Neil soon found praise pouring in from 4 corners of the world. It is in his memory that the 2nd edition has been produced. I too have received so much support from all of you following Neil's sudden passing, and I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Gone but not forgotten. Hello to Penny and Peace Ninja Woman. And Jamie, hello, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. So let's go ahead and have a look at the minor arcana. The minor suits are color coded. So you'll see that the suit of pentacles is this deep, earthy color. The suit of cups is a grainy, more watery color. We definitely do have the element of fire in the colors that are selected for the wands. And then the swords they're all this beautiful, muted, earthy tones. And so we have this lighter, choose a color name. But you can see that we also have see if I can pick this one up and fan this one for you. The borders, right? So the borders will help you to identify which suit that you're in. And you can see, even though we've got quite a few subtle variations in the suit of swords, we've got definitely have this theme going on. And I think, I have listened to a lot of your comments on Facebook and so forth with the 1st edition, and some people struggle with how to use this deck. And so that's why I was thinking that I want to take some time today to really find some language around the house and what we can learn from the metaphor of the house and our own house, either as, the dream of our ideal house or our physical body. And Nancy mentioned the houses, of course, in the solar of the astrological houses. So there's lots of different ways we can work with that metaphor. I love somehow the points in the Ace of Cups remind me of a compass. And I like that the emotions are driving the compass. The emotions are connected to, I don't know, the Northern Star. There is something about those points behind that cup that feel really beautiful. The other thing that, as I get to know this deck, I want to pay attention to the flooring. The subtle details. I am looking at the deck sideways, and I'll turn my head from time to time and look at the camera. But there's so many beautiful details in these cards that there may be patterns I have a feeling to pick up on, like if you see common floor patterns or common shapes in windows or things like that. Look for repeating statues. And of course, whether we are out in the garden or we are inside of the house, and perhaps which floor of the house we are on in any given picture. Okay, so doing this live, of course, the cards are going to slide all over the place, but I'll try to keep it somewhat organized. So there we have the 2s. And I have noticed in the suit of swords, for sure, I'm seeing a Marseille style, the swords here. And I haven't had a close look at the other suits to see if we have any Marseille-esque representations of how the minor arcana are presented, but it's definitely apparent in the swords. There is no little white book that comes with this deck. So this is a very intuitive read, and there's something about this that has attracted me since the very first time I saw it on Facebook, and I feel that there's going to be some really, really deep readings here. And the bird. So have a look at the bird in the cage. So the bird, look at the flooring here. So I have a feeling that we're either in the kitchen, depending on this house. We could also be up in the attic. And well, we really could be anywhere. I mean, it depends on what your house looks like, how this house looks like in your mind. But the bird is outside of the cage. And I know this is one of my favorite quandaries in these kinds of cards, where there is a gate that is closed, yet there is no chain, or the chain is open, or the lock is actually open, or there's no lock. And it's a choice. It's a choice whether we fly away. It's a choice whether we move through the gate or not. Love the brick background. I imagine we are out here against a garden wall, and we have, can you see the ropes here? And so this whole idea of balance, we cannot see what is on the other side, which is really, really intriguing. So that leaves that open to your interpretation, perhaps in the shape of a reading. Perhaps what is being balanced is the Two of Swords. If these appeared in the same reading, the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. The other thing I just wanted to pause and think about was just to keep an eye on the masculinity and the femininity, speaking from a very universal consciousness point of view, of the pentacles and the cups, and then the wands and the swords, to see if the receptiveness. I just love this garden. Oh my goodness. It is a very structured garden, though, which is something that we can talk about. The formality, right? So the formality of the garden, the formality of the living room or the sitting room, the formality of different parts of the house. And if within the house there's any parts of the house that feel like we could lay back and relax, or if this whole deck feels kind of structured, this is gorgeous. This Three of Coins to me, this looks like we're outside. It feels like there's a tremendous amount of freedom. It also feels to me in this Three of Pentacles that there is a sense of wildness within the garden. So this is not the structured, this is not the structured garden that we were looking at in the Two of Cups, but something that is not kept by the garden. So maybe this is a part of the garden that is, it feels very special to me. That card, there's something about that Three of Pentacles I really like. And then let's look also to the divinity in the threes. There's always something, or the first completion in the threes. Over here we have a picture of a boat. So I also want to look at what is held within the frames of the boat. So on this dresser. And then what is on the wallpaper in the background. And of course, this is a deck that's going to take time to reveal itself. And it's really interesting because I pulled out today hello, Ultramarine 2, welcome. And Mary Beth, welcome to you. Karen, hi. I wanted to, what did I want to do? I want to look at what's in the pictures, but also I pulled out this deck because when I was going through that initial walkthrough in the Facebook group, I was thinking about, this is the Texture Tarot by Lisa McLaughlin, and how there were certain aspects of the Textured Tarot that reminded me of this deck. And I was just wondering, I was just wondering if Lisa was inspired by this deck, or if it was just such a strong metaphor that I don't know. I just wonder. I just wonder. Project Refined Life, hello, good morning. So I want to come back and perhaps look at some of these cards that have that similar flavor in the texture tarot after. Okay. Really love the paint brushes in the Three of Wands. This card is very intriguing to me. In the background of, sorry, we're in the four. Sorry, the four. In the background of the Four of Cups, there are swans. So we are looking out through a window, perhaps into the garden. And the Four of Swords. You know, I was talking about the Secret Garden book in one of my groups and just thinking of pulling out that book too when I was going through this, the book by Frances Burnett Hodgkins, I think her name is. And I was just thinking about Colin Craven's Wheelchair. I was thinking about the Old Manor House and just going back and forth and having a little, because, you know, this house that comes up in the Ten of Pentacles and the Texture Tarot is a card that's really kind of rocked a lot of different readings for me. And I want to really pay attention to how I feel in each of these rooms. Project Refined Life, yes, I maybe could do a side-by-side of the Texture Tarot and the Tyldwick Tarot. That would be a good exercise to do. Yeah. So how do you feel? How do each of the rooms make you feel? The room on the left, that Four of Wands, I feel very creative. I feel like I could paint anything. There's a lightness to the background. I feel very, very, very hopeful. And there's this four here. So this is the Four of Coins, which typically is quite a constrictive kind of energy. That's exactly how this makes me feel. And here we have a wheel. So we have an astrological wheel here. And I'm assuming this is Jupiter, but I'm not sure. This card, and then the fact that it's a square and there's a structure, and we have when this comes up in a reading with the actual wheel card, and I'll put this one to the side and we'll look at it with the wheel card. I appreciate the fact that there's repeating symbols in a deck, and we can bring those in. Jamie, you see that too, the Secret Garden. Okay, let's go on to the fives. And I have to say, I think this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Okay. You see, here we are. Look, we've got this. So we're outside now looking in. And we have that kind of haunted house feeling in the Five of Cups. I watched a very kind of freaky movie on Netflix the other day. And the young girl she'd grown up, she went back to the old mansion / castle where she used to live. And it had this kind of feeling, you know, how can we release the past? How can we live now if we don't release the past? And what are those conversations we need to have with ourselves so that we can see the gift, see the shadow of the past as supporting our present whole. So these are the fives. So these are the bridge cards. These are the challenging cards. And they all, to me, look congested and deep and dark. The lightest one to me is the Five of Wands for sure. So these are going to take some time to work with. In the Five of Coins, let's just have a closer look at the Five of Coins. Where are we exactly? There is a, hard. So there is a chair on the left. And I'm wondering if we are outside Again, we're outside, and it almost looks like we have the possibility to enter through this doorway. We have lots of overgrown, yeah. But you may see this differently, right? You might see this as an indoor landscape. And I think this is one of the beauties of this deck, is because it is the colors are muted and subtle, and the effect of the collage work is going to take each of us in a different direction. Hello, Lady Knight of Avalon. Welcome. And then I will also spend some time looking at the doors and the complexity and the structure of the doors. So for example, if we compare the door in the 5 of coins to the door and the 6 of coins, what a huge difference. We have what appears to be a wooden door with a slatted upper half, compared to the ornate door in the 6 of coins. And this might not be a door. We also have a chain up here. This could be just a very small, it could also be a safe as well too. Some kind of a place where you keep your treasures or your jewelry. But we do have what looks like bricks down on the bottom. There's just endless possibilities for where you want to go with this. In the 6 of Cups, I feel like I am on the balcony looking out. If you like the Spacious Tarot, which still hasn't come to my hands, it's sitting in my box in the US. I'm sure you've heard that story before. This is a deck that you can do that similar thing where you can shuffle and choose a card and enter into the card either through path working or any other meditation techniques that you have to enter into a scene and to find out what the energy of that particular situation has to reveal for you. This is another great potential of this deck. Yeah, and I like Ultramarine's comment as well too. Maybe it's a mirror frame and we're seeing part of our own space. So that's why I keep on asking, how does the space make me feel? And the 6 of Swords, the world map in the background. We also have this lemniscate shape here, and then we have this gold globe that almost looks like a coin. It looks like a sun shining in the globe stand. This is quite an extraordinary card. These 6s, actually all of these 6s, and in the 6 of we do have the we have a lot of RWS symbology. I don't think this deck is going to be difficult to read at all. There are going to be a lot of different layers that we can bring in. Okay, so let's go on to the 7s. So first going through of this deck, there's so many things that came up for me in the 7s. I want to get a magnifying glass and see if this document actually is an actual document and what it is. That was one of the questions. So that's the 7 of Swords. But just think, what that document could represent in terms of, there's also this Lenormand-esque possibility of reading this deck. So you could read this deck as, in a more Lenormand style, if that's something that you are familiar with. What did Nancy say? Let's go to Nancy's comment here. Do you see the interiors of the houses as metaphors for our Oh, of course. Of course. And that's why I was asking, if we are in a bedroom, maybe the bedroom has a certain feel. Or if we're in a living room, or where we are in the house, I think is going to definitely influence the reading. And there was something about this 7 of Cups, this one here. When I looked at it last time, it was evening. But I feel there's just, and to me it looks like there's a Buddha on top of the fountain. This looks like it almost looks like, so there's a table, and I see so many things going on here. This is a very intriguing card for me. I'm going to definitely spend some time with this particular 7. Okay, so let's go to our 8s. The infinite potential of the 8s. And what really got me in this one was the barbed wire. The barbed wire is such a harsh symbol. And is the barbed wire keeping us in, or is the barbed wire keeping us out? Which side of the fence are we on? Hi, Joseph. Yeah, of course, it may be something about a scarab, but I was also thinking about, sometimes different insects are used to digest paper and get rid of waste. And so there was something about that coming forth with me as well too. Here we have another mandala, another wheel. And so that's something else I'm going to keep an eye out for. Look at the feathers on the ends of the arrows here. And perhaps the fact that the 8 of Wands, in the 8 of Wands, we have 8 arrows, will bring some connection, to the sword cards that come up in that suit. Or keeping us apart. Yes, perhaps the barbed wire is keeping us apart. The wall is not very low, right? Do we have the resources to cut? Do we have the resources to cut that barbed wire? Or are there chairs? Is there something that we can use to either, get over that barbed wire? Let's look at the 8 of Cups. I think I might bring this deck into tomorrow's comparison video, as well as the other deck that I reviewed the other day, the Cosmovisions. There's a lot that's going on in these cards. Okay, let's go on to the 9. I love these bottles. I have a neighbor that has a bunch of blue glass or older bottles sitting in her living room window. I love glass. Okay, so we're at the 9s. Nine of, interesting. So 9 of Wands is very lush, very, very beautiful. Again, is this a door, or what is this? We're at a statue in a garden, perhaps up against a wall in the garden. And we have Atlas. So looks like we have Atlas with the world on his shoulders. Yet, look at how beautiful all that is around there. So 9 of Cups. I would assume we're in the bedroom here. And in the 9 of Swords, wow, that is powerful. That pose of surrender is incredibly powerful. And look at the openness and the light in the 9 of Coins. We are indoors, but there's a sense of hope and possibility. There's a lot of trunks here. I'm wondering where we are. Are we in the attic? And notice in the 9 of Coins that the lock is closed. Like this door is locked. And I'm wondering if there's locks on all of these trunks. These are going to be incredible reads. I would say that this is in the attic. And so what is your attic? You know, what does the attic mean for you metaphorically? Okay, let's go to the tens. So here we are at the 10, circling around back to the beginning. And one of the things that I like to do is have a look at the aces and the, so I'll do that in a second. We'll have a look at the aces and the tens. I'm just going to pull out the aces again. And I'm seeing slow tarot here. I'm seeing the slow tarot. Love that he has included traditional RWS Tree of Life kind of imagery for this. And again, we are on a trellis. We're outside. So it appears we have a fairly balanced, number of cards with indoor and outdoor landscapes, which I like. Okay, so we'll look at the aces and the tens side by side shortly. Put the tens over here. And then for the court cards, there is a frame with a face in it. So these are the pages. And I haven't taken time to check the other symbology that may be here to represent, to see if we have to see if the pages are all indeed earth, or sometimes they could be air as well too. And if there's a symbol for that. Oh, look at the floor. We have the sun. Look at that. That beautiful, I don't know if it's a wood carving or a carpet. And then the knights. Okay, so for there's quite a different energy with the knights and the pages. They feel solid. They feel like there's some structure to the knights. We have a different variation of that flooring in this one. And you can see their frames. And I'm quite certain that whatever's on the wall, the backgrounds, is going to, it's going to come through and show up. And I'll show you one of the complete suits of the Page, Knight, Queen, King. We'll look at that as well too, because that's always a good thing to look at. We can do that with the last one. So here are the queens. So do we see the element of water in each of these cards? That's something that I will look for. Can we find the strong feminine element of water? Lunar energy. I haven't noticed moons in this deck. Okay. And then here are the kings. Okay. Oh, I feel like we've got even a stronger. They feel very structured, really, really structured. I feel like I'm walking into wouldn't have been a CEO at that time, but I feel like I'm walking into a very important person's office. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to leave the king there and see if I can do this. So there is the page. So there's the page, and there's the king, and there's the queen, and there's the knight. So there's one of the suits, the 4 court cards. So you can kind of see what that looks like. What a picture. Wow. What a picture. And so then have a look at the relationship between the page and the queen and the knight and the king. What's the relationship like between the queen and the king? Hello, cards, journals, and all that jazz. Hello, Vanessa. So here we are. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's do one more thing before we look at the major arcana. So here is the Ace of Coins, and here's the Ten of Coins. There's always, I like to do this because it can really help us to see the journey of a suit if we see the Ace and the 10 together. Here's the Ace of Swords and the 10 of Swords. Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups. I was just looking to see if we could actually see this cup in this cabinet. And then here is the 10 of Wands and the Ace of Wands. What do you think? Could kings be as desks like thinking and relationship for air? Okay. All right. So let's have a look at the majors, and then we'll go on and try to figure out the best way to work with this and to design a spread. The majors are absolutely stunning, and they're a real range of the colors, but they tend to be more of the richness of the pentacles. And the frames do vary. They're not all the same frames. The borders do vary. Right? Okay, so let's have a look at these. Which way should we go? We'll go that way. And I will zoom in a little bit so I can get even closer. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Okay. There is a little bit too much light shining on my table, so the color is actually darker than you are seeing here. We have the jester. We also have butterflies. I don't know if you can see, we've got butterflies up here at the top as well too. And what is this little symbol I just noticed? So there's something red right here, very subtle. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get out a magnifying glass with this one. And then look also on the mantle. So there is a human. There is an animal. Looks like there may be another human statue over here. This is going to be so much fun. So much fun to take the pieces of this deck apart. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel that I can't, what do I want to say? I don't like using double negatives. I don't feel like I won't be able to read with it until I find all the symbols. I think it's natural that the symbols are slowly going to appear as we go through it. And so we have a stage in the Magician. We have a puppet show here on top of this this desk. Look at the floor. We have, what a gorgeous floor. It matches so well with the energy of the Magician card. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there were quite a few cards. Now, to me from the side, I almost see some kind of like a sewing machine table here. but I'm looking at it from a strange angle. What I was going to say is I want to go through and pull out all of the cards that have pillars that are framed with pillars of one sort or another on either side. And then the Empress. Surprisingly very dark. Okay, so let's look at the Empress and the Emperor side by side. So we have rich green colors with the Empress. And she is outside, it looks like to me. And the Emperor is in the library. A very solid looking card. Again, much like the Kings. But we have a some kind of statuary here on the desk. Balanced by, again, I'm going to have to look really closely to see if one is a globe and what the other one is. And then we have the Pope. And the Pope is a statue. The Pope is a statue. And if you look, there's a lot of height here. The Pope is sitting in an alcove. Six is the Lovers. I can think of a couple of different decks I would like to do a side-by-side with. I'll figure out which ones I want to. I was thinking of the beautiful Rebellion Tarot that I might do a side-by-side with. And I have a feeling those two decks are going to really speak to each other. I love the colors on the Chariot card. This is quite a, I feel like it's a really angelic energy. There's a lot of movement in this card. Justice is very pretty. Very pretty. So Justice is 8. Interesting contrast between above and below. And there is separation between above and below. The Hermit. To me, this looks cavernous. This looks like we are down in a cave, one of those temples in India where you go down, down, down into the bowels of the earth. Don't know if any of you have ever had that experience, but that's what that card reminds me of. So we can think about that. We can think about the garden, the cave, the attic, which room in the house as we start to analyze readings or lean into the feelings of readings. So there's the Wheel. I said I was going to keep that other card out. I'm not sure that I did. Which card was it? Do you remember the card I said? It was one of the Pentacles cards. It was the Four of Pentacles. Let me see if I can find it. The sound of these cards is beautiful. Okay, so there is the Wheel, and there is the Four. Interesting. So this is the Four of Pentacles, and this is the Wheel. And in the Wheel of Fortune, again, another fountain. It looks like the water is turning the wheel. And normally I would not connect of course, I wouldn't connect fours with ones, but I just wanted to have a look at that. So then we have Fortitude for number 11. Little bird down here. What looks like a lion face up here in the cracks of the old wall. This Hanged Man card intrigues me a lot. Certainly does. Hello, Swan. And 13. So 13 is not named, sticking with tradition. There is a skeleton in this mirror, and there's also a clock. And I believe, so the clock is 2. I wonder if that is significant. The clock is maybe 10, 12. 12 minutes past 10. And we have an organ. So this is an organ. Wow, lots of symbols to work with. And temperance. So we do have an angel appearing through the window with a light. And where are we in the house for temperance? Where are we? Are we in a chapel? Are we in a sacred space? Are we in a, I feel like we're in a sacred space outside the house. And then for the devil, I'm just going to get that card. I am going to do a side-by-side with this deck I was talking about, the textured tarot. Where is the devil? No, that's realization. Here it is. Here's the devil card and the textured tarot. And in this mirror, you definitely see something. In this mirror, there's only a shadow of something. But look how these two figures here are the same as in this deck. Interesting, huh? Okay, and then the tower with the broken mirror and masks. So down the side, we have different masks. We have a compass on the bottom. Oh, this is just going to be so much fun to read with. Okay. Again, this is the star, gorgeous card. We're out in the garden. The water is, there's quite a few cards where the water is coming out of the wall. You know, those kind of garden features. Beautiful card. Hey, Donna. Aloha, John. Joe, Jonathan's here too. Aloha, Jonathan. Okay. And then last few cards. So let's look at the moon and the sun side by side. So if you want to stick around, what I am going to do is on the fly, I'm going to try and build a spread. To come up with a spread, to come up with questions to work with this deck based on just reflections of the house and the metaphor of the house. So there's the moon and the sun. There really is an opulence to this card, isn't there? So the moon and the sun, and then judgment and the world. And there's something about this world card that is quite powerful. What is on? Okay, so we have a pyramid, a sphere, and a cube. I kind of like that. And again, another card with two pillars. So part of my study of this deck will be to pull out all the cards with two pillars, to look for repeating symbols and images, to look at the styles of the desks, and also to put the cards the deck into two piles, interior and exterior, and look at which cards are interior and which cards are exterior, because I think that is a really, it can say a lot. And I will be using this in the not too distant future for Tuesday readings. That is for sure. Okay, so let's put all these here. You want to see this beautiful pile of cards? It's really quite something. Just want to, and I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear the quality of the cards? It's amazing. Okay, so here's what I want to do, and this, I won't be long with this, but I'm going to shuffle the cards, and the first question I want to ask is, I want to pay attention to where in the house this card is, and then I want to feel into what I'm picking up for that, because there's some significance to where in the house this is, and this is going to guide the reading. And I want to ask questions about that room and dive into that room. And can you see here? Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous gilding, copper. This is my only copper deck. I believe the original deck was gold. This one is copper. I'm not going to take, oh, and I didn't show you the backs. So these are the backs. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to shuffle. So this is the first shuffle of the deck. This deck is a little bit thicker than the deck I cracked open day before yesterday. I did a walkthrough of I did a little bit of the Cosmovisions. This one is a little thicker. Let's just have a look. Why not? Because it's here, still on my desk. Always intrigued about this whole GSM thing. Yeah. So for me as a riffle shuffler, I don't know if you can see, the Cosmovisions is definitely the GSM and the Tyldwick is more. So I'm going to say that it is, you know, it's more than a 1/4 inch thicker. It's about a 1/4 inch thicker. And I actually like the GSM of the Cosmovisions because I am a riffle shuffler, even though it's not great for the gilding. This one takes a little bit more hand strength. Okay, so the first question is this. And you can substitute the word house. So it's going to take me some time to build this reading, but I want to focus on the landscape. What is the landscape of this first card? How does this landscape make me feel? What is this landscape bringing up for me? Because this landscape of the first card, whether it's an interior and exterior, whether it feels like it is on the main floor of the house, whether it feels like it's in the attic or the kitchen, is going to be the focus of the card, the focus of the reading. Okay? And maybe if you have another deck on your table, you could ask a similar question, because this is not something that tends to be the focus of a reading. You know, what is the environment of what is the background of the card? What is the scene? What is the setting of the card? And what does that bring up for you at this time? Okay, so this is going to be a 3 card, I think. I feel like I just want to flow with this. Okay, so this is totally on the fly. And yeah, okay. Okay, so I'll go back to the other camera. Donna says, I believe you have to order from the UK at present. At present. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so this is the Page of Coins, and I'm going to zoom in. All right, so we're outside, and there's a chest. There's an old box on the right side. It might be a wheelbarrow, actually. It might be a wheelbarrow. This makes me feel happy. It makes me feel happy that I'm outdoors. It makes me feel like there's things to do. This is the Page of Coins. It makes me feel also that that there's already been work that's been done. Like I feel like maybe I have some responsibility here. I don't feel like I want to pass through that door. I don't feel like it's a door. I feel like it's an alcove. Maybe this is a place that I want to sit in meditation. You know, but I feel good that I'm outside. You know, that makes me feel that's where I want to be. I'm actually glad that my landscape, my inner landscape is outside. That's how I'm interpreting this. So the first card represents my inner landscape, or the inner landscape where I need to where I need to be aware of. All right. And so my second question is, what do I need to know about this landscape, right? What is it that needs to come into focus, into attention about this landscape? I'm also kind of looking up. You know, it's very overgrown. I'm also wondering if this, if we want to tap into this page energy, there's also, look here, isn't this a symbol, a science symbol? I don't know if you can see it. This is that symbol of energy. That's something else I'm feeling with this card, is that I want to do something. I want to move. And this is the Page of Coins. And I'm wondering if the Page of Coins has been sitting there meditating in the garden while the garden overgrows. Yeah, I like Joseph's question as well, too. So let's just riff with this. Oh my goodness, that's not what I was expecting at all. And sorry, we've got brown on brown here. We have the Emperor. So I'm seeing chaos and order. Chaos and order. So there's something about the connection of that chaos and order. We also have exterior and interior. And this is something I'm going to journal about. This is something about there's something about the balance of that. We also have a page and a king, right? A page and an emperor. So we have a neophyte and somebody who's very, very elevated, somebody who has grown through a lot of experience. And so this feels like a full range of experiences. It feels like a journey. The landscape through that door could be very, very different. It's almost like we're going from, perhaps we're going from a garden inside the house out into the big wide world. And when we go through that door into the big wide world, we meet the Emperor. And if we do this as a path working exercise and we open that door and we go through the door into the big wide world and we meet the Emperor, how does the Emperor make me feel? How does the Emperor influence me? And why am I being guided towards the Emperor? All right, so I'm going to pull one more card. And so I want to ask about the Emperor specifically, the second card. I want to know, what do I want to know about the Emperor? What is the Emperor's message for me? What is the wisdom of the Emperor? What is the, or perhaps beyond the energy of the Emperor? And I'm also looking at all of those books. And the Emperor's back is to the books. The knowledge, there's knowledge contained within all of those books. There's experiences contained within all of those books. I'm wondering if the Emperor is regretting that he didn't go through that door and he didn't go out into the world. It's funny because I've been getting a lot of astrological messages lately about the world and connecting with the world. And do you remember I was saying I was going to get my magnifying glass and look what is on either side of his table? I'm pretty sure this one is a globe. And what is this one? I think it's also a globe. I think they're both globes. Yeah, I'm wondering if the Emperor... I'm wondering if the Emperor got lost in his library and is encouraging me to go out into the big wide world. I mean, these are all things, and I think I will take this reading into a dream meditation tonight, or into a journey tonight. Okay, so third card is, okay, so let's keep riffing here. So if I go through that door, what is it I need to be aware of? I like doing readings like this because, I mean, it's fun to have structure into the reading. Okay, and then I get my favorite card. I get this card where I was feeling so much creativity, so much potential and lightness. It's almost as if I can paint my own landscape. I can paint whatever it is that I want to paint. And of course, I'm going to go back and have a little reflection on the fact that the Emperor is a 4. This is a 4. The Emperor is, of course, connected to Aries. And this is the 4 of fire. So I really feel like and remember I was saying I felt like this page wanted to go. This page wanted to do something. It felt very stagnant. And yeah, so pick up a paintbrush, Sadhana. And what is my paintbrush? And what is it I want to paint? And what is it I want to create? So these are the kind of questions that I feel love. Oh, wow. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Jonathan. Jonathan. No, I didn't. The deck made you do it. Donna. So Donna, the blog, if you go to the Tyldwick, there is a blog post on Neil there. I'm not sure if you're on another website or not. I wonder if I can, let's see. I'm going to, maybe I can do this. If I go to Donna. Okay, Donna, I've added you as a moderator. So now you can put that link in there, okay? So go ahead and put that link in there. Nancy, Crohn's Intuition, did I say hello to you? Okay, so we'll just wait for Donna to post that link. And I'm going to go back. And so Thanks for playing with me this morning, and this has been fun. So I'm going to take my 3 cards to my room and maybe go. So I'm a sewer. I don't know if you know that I'm a sewer. So I do have some incredible magnifying glasses, and I'm going to have a really good look at these cards and see if there's something else that I can pick up with that. All right. So what is going on? What's going on with me is tomorrow my tarot class starts. There's 4 spots left, and that's an evening class going for 22 weeks. The plan is to go consecutive weeks. If I do go away in July, I'm going to take my equipment with me. That's the plan anyway. And crystal class on Wednesday. So we've had 2 crystal classes. You can buy them a la carte. And this week, Wednesday, so right after I go live in the Facebook group, go hop on to the crystal class. And this week, we're going to talk about electromagnetic frequency. We're going to talk about psychic protection, crystals that work with bringing safety and shifting the vibrations in the house. The house feels a little less energetically safe as far as Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff goes. So that's on Wednesday night. And yeah, there's other stuff going on too. I'm having so much fun in the court card class that I'm teaching. And I'm right now rewriting the curriculum for the second, so court card class series 2. So yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying teaching, and this is it's part of my dharma. I love being in the teaching role and creating materials and exercises and stuff. So please check out my website, because there's always new things coming up as well too. And I don't just teach tarot. There's a lot of other offerings as well too. And of course, I work on one-on-one with several clients. Unfortunately now through Zoom. Not unfortunately, without COVID, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have reached out in a way and been able to connect with so many people all over the world. And I've really, really enjoyed that. I see Jonathan has highlighted a comment. You have been drawn to the deck for a while now, but wasn't pulling the trigger. Well, I suppose that's a good thing, right? It's a really incredible deck, and I think it's got something very, very special to offer, and I feel no regret whatsoever. And then thank you, Donna, for putting up the link, psychicgloom.com. I will be sure to check it out. Oh, thank you, Donna. Thank you for that lovely comment. Wonderful. All right, so you have a lovely rest of your day. I will be back doing live readings tomorrow, as I am. So Tuesdays, I'm coming on twice on Tuesdays. So the first for the card comparisons, and then at noon Pacific for live readings. I have that link's not up yet. That thumbnail's not up yet, but I'll see you twice tomorrow, okay? Stay well, be kind to one another, and I'll see you very soon. Namaste.